switched over just as they were doing some other things to kind of cheese ball it up, it felt like, before they actually got started with it. And then once they did, it kind of felt the same. But nonetheless, when they got to the it was actually kind of neat, though, with the way the draft actually worked, considering it went by so much quicker as teams were on the clock, but their picks were in a heck of a lot sooner, which they were anticipating with the way the format was with them streaming and doing everything via mobile. And it made things go pretty good. It was kind of nice before 10 o'clock. Half the teams had already picked, which was kind of good, but I couldn't stay up for much longer there, so I went to bed. I got to see... obviously the first round, Joe Burrow is now a Cincinnati Bengal, from a Bayou Bengal to a Cincinnati Bengal, and we'll see what that young man can do. I think he's got an opportunity to be something special, considering the team that he's going to, and how much he mentioned Athens in his Heisman Trophy acceptance speech and everything, that he's now playing for that community at a professional National Football League level, and it may be the key to what they see themselves doing with that organization, to be better and better decision making centered around something like that. And it probably doesn't hurt that he comes in with already some accolades. Yeah, it's a big difference and a big jump going from college to the NFL, but it's different when you walk into the locker room and you have an opportunity to say, hey, I'm a leader and I'm going to lead you guys because I've won the Heisman and a national championship and had some of the best passing yards and everything else, and so to speak, for one of the best college football seasons a quarterback in college football could have. That's somebody you might want to get around and pay attention to and listen to and expect to lead you to the promised land, so to speak. But good luck to him. Like to see how that goes, and being from Ohio originally. That was kind of cool to see that, although I just hope they don't ruin his career with bad decisions that the organization would make and so on and so forth. But all the best to him. As there were some other picks in lieu of our area for which was interesting with, like we said, with the Florida Gators, talking with Galen yesterday. I just had it here and I lost it. To the idea of basically seeing where some of our more local guys, like the Florida Gators, C.J. Henderson, and then thinking about some of the other teams, as they didn't have a trade for any picks until it was San Francisco, which then Tampa Bay traded up so they could get a offensive lineman, which was pretty smart. So right there, they're playing to center themselves around Tom Brady and Gronkowski to make that offense even better and protect Brady even more so, which is kind of cool. But anyway, as we do got a good show for you, that'll be one of the topics that we have going for today. Of course, we'll have our phone lines open, 622-9622. And also, too, yesterday we were responding to conversation about whether or not we think, in your guys' opinions and opinions around the country, the county, and everywhere and so forth, about whether or not it's worth getting another stimulus check, and what the government will be working on to not only reopen things, but see where we would be at as an American people to have help financially. As we had a few people interested in sharing an opinion with that. We'll carry that into today and keep those conversations rolling, as it is a cloudy, dark cloudy morning after all them storms rolled through and everything, as we're coming up on 70 degrees already this morning, with an expectation of showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon. Also, it's going to be a wet day. It's going to be a rainy day. It's a good day to stay in bed, as much as I know I would have liked to. I get to the end of that week, and then I'm excited for it, but I'm also dragging behind the golf cart, if you will. Just trying to wake myself up, as I'm hoping to wake you folks up here at AM Ocala Live, to keep you informed, a little bit entertained. As we said, this Friday, April 24th, moving you towards, the end of April. If everybody else feels like April's just been a long month. I felt that with January, and it felt like January took forever. I mean, there was parts of January I look back and I'm like, man, at the beginning of the year it was forever ago. And then, of course, in everything going on with the beginnings of the conversations about where coronavirus was in the world, February, and because it's a shorter month, feels like that flew by as quick as possible. And then March was an intermittent. I think March was an intermittent type of month. Sometimes it went quick, sometimes it went slower. But I got to tell you, if you feel the same way I do with April just dragging, it feels that way today. Now, a lot of that maybe have to do with just a little bit of the weather. But hey, we needed some rain. We got a lot of rain, which is a good thing. And we got a caller. Good morning, WOCA. You're on the air.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Great. Yeah, it is a dreary day. I have to take a drive, so I hope it holds off pretty good. I was going to say I had some good, happy, cheerful news for Friday.
Yeah.
I saw a post on from the Humane Society that in 16 days they adopted out 70 animals.
Oh, wow. That's a number. My goodness.
And I think that's a lot. There was like 47 dogs and 23 cats.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow, and that's great because we know when all of this started to get going, that was one of the concerns. Is like, well, they're not going to, with everything going on, no one's going to really be going out there to donate to adopt pets. And it was more
they have
like,
it set up really safe there too.
Yeah,
because I go and I volunteer. Like for the adoption, they have a tent, an open, like one of those event tents set up with tables, and people sit outside, so you don't have to be inside. And then they have chairs 6 feet apart, and instead of walking through the building, they direct you through the side entrance where it's open air into the main kennel. So it's really they're being proactive for the virus too, and I think that's great. But I think people are lonely being home, and it's a great time to adopt an animal and be able to get it trained before you go back to work. And let it adapt to its new home.
Right.
So I think that's what people were doing,
Mm-hmm. I get a little lonely
really
here in the morning. I get a little lonely here in the morning starting this show because I'm the only one here for the first hours. I think I need an office dog or a little kitty cat just to sit in the chair.
A kitty. We could have all the listeners name it.
WOCA Source mascot.
Hey, we could name it Source.
Name it Source. Come here, Source.
Yeah. How cool is that? That's a great idea.
And then if anybody asks, any blasphemous information that somebody calls me out on, I say, hey, I got it from the source. And they're like, what's that?
There you go.
Cat.
Yeah, you look down at the cat. Say, good job.
Now, did you...
It isn't... Yeah, okay. You take care. Have a wonderful day and stay dry.
You too, sweetie. You too. Well, that's some good news there. Yeah, with the Humane Society there. Absolutely. Getting 70 animals were donated. Jeez. Wake up. Adopted, 70 animals adopted. That's pretty cool because I know that was one of the things about a month and a half ago as a concern, considering everything was on lockdown, so to speak. It's like what happens to situations like that. But that's some good news, and yeah, I guess that's it too. It's like why not get a pet? A little somebody there to take care of it. And actually that's the nice distraction of it. It's like when you pet a cat or a dog, it's that moment of feeling like you're in the moment and there's nothing else to worry about. Oh, isn't that nice? The only thing is about a cat is I have a cat already, Sweetsy girl. And why do cats throw up so much? Hairballs galore. It's like she's always shedding. I don't get it. But it's the only problem I have with it. But that's what I like about cats. They're a little self-reliant. As you can throw out a food bowl and a dish of water and a litter box. They'll go to the bathroom there. They'll eat when they're hungry. And for the most part, they're kind of on their own, a little independent. Now, I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I am a dog person too. Cats are just a little bit easier when you think about the lifestyle that I have right now. It's kind of like good, more responsibility comes with the dog, and I can't wait to have a dog when I have the opportunity with not only the space, but then the time to actually go and walk it and take it outside and stuff like that. So that'll be something to look forward to later on. But for right now, it's just a kitty cat. Oh, Sweetsy girl. As we're making our way here 5 minutes before the top of the 8 o'clock hour, give us a call. Phone lines are open, 622-9622. We were talking a little bit about NFL Draft 2020 was last night. And thinking about that, too, it was what a hell of an adjustment that they had to make to go from the spectacle that they usually have to doing what they had to do last night, which I think they did a fairly well job doing. The logistics of it, I think, were pretty good. It's difficult to figure out how to bring that to your television for Americans and then still work it the way it did. So they had Roger Goodell, the commissioner, go back to him to announce which pick there was in the draft from his homestead. And then behind him, he had like a TV screen of like a few people that had FaceTime for that team that they were rooting for, and then they would show the in the living room of the kids who were getting drafted, which they show that a little bit anyway later on beyond the first round, beyond the first few picks, the ones that are not there and stuff. But it was kind of neat nonetheless, and I think they did a fairly well enough job to put it on, and I'm curious of what the ratings were for it, because it almost felt like, oh yeah, we should tune in. It almost felt this idea that there was a little connection there, that if anybody's a sports goer, that they were going to have it on just for something sports, like we said. And I wonder if that boosted the ratings hell hardcore, or if it just was just the normal, or if it was subpar. And I wonder if there was a spike in the beginning and then it trailed off pretty big. I know I couldn't stay awake for the last little bit of it there for the first round and everything, as it was before 10, and I ended up turning it off. But I got to see, and like I said, the first 10 picks, and then I got to see my teams with my girls Panthers, and then the Brownies, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they traded up to get a offensive lineman, which was pretty cool. And stay tuned as we are making our way to the top of the 8 o'clock hour. That'll be one of the conversations we'll be having with Galen from Life South Community Blood Centers, and then talking a little bit too, still on the idea of what could be expected for the change going into next week with May, on the expectation of blood donations and the blood mobile, and still with the testing of the antibodies. For what qualifies that, and then at the same time what you can do to help out if you still want to donate blood. And hopefully too, when the idea of May is those elective surgeries coming back. So we'll have you stay tuned for that. As like we said, you're listening to AM Ocala Live. I'm gonna wake you guys up with waking myself up here all together this Friday morning, as it's still a little damp out there nonetheless, as we can expect more showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon, but that's okay. Let's hang tight, wake up together, enjoy that cup of coffee, and we'll get this conversation rolling to get ourselves to the weekend. Not too bad. WOCA Ocala 96.3 FM. 1370 AM. Streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA The Source Radio. We'll be back after this.